This house was built by S.D. Hattrick, an engineer associated with the Culbertson paper mill. It is an elegant and simple example of the Eastlake style, a more broadly popular variation of Queen Anne style. The fence around the Acheson house is an important importation from another building. Until 1977, it was the railing of the second-story balcony of the Central Block, one of the most important buildings in the history of Monongahela City. Edward Goodrich Acheson was an inventor and a native of Washington, PA. He left school at the age of 16 to help support his family after his father died, but devoted his evenings to scientific pursuits, primarily electrical experiments. In 1880, he had the temerity to attempt to sell a battery of his own invention to Thomas Edison, and wound up working for Edison at his research lab in Menlo Park, New Jersey. After a year, he was sent to Europe to install electrical lighting systems in the Hotel de Ville in Antwerp and La Scala in Milan, among other public places. Before leaving New York, Acheson had invented an insulated copper wire for telephone lines, for which he later took out a patent. It was similar in construction to the modern coaxial cable used in today's television cable lines. Around 1886, he moved to Pittsburgh, selling his patent to George Westinghouse and signing on for 3 years as an electrician of a cable manufacturing company owned by Westinghouse. By 1890, after operating a small electric plant in Pittsburgh in association with Christopher McGee, he decided to strike off on his own. Acheson wanted to start an electric plant in a small, concentrated town where electricity had not yet been introduced, as electric lighting was still a new idea and most towns didn't have electricity yet. He chose Monongahela City.
In the fall of 1890, I thought that with a small electric lighting plant in some town, I could make the plant pay its way by night lighting, and use the dynamo for experiments during the day. The Monongahela Electric Light Company was incorporated for $40,000, a suitable building purchased and the necessary engines and dynamos installed. The company commenced to furnish lights to its customers on the 20th day of November 1890. After I was located and all the capital I could raise invested, I realized that electric lighting in the small town was no play. Monongahela City had a gas plant, owned and operated by the 2 local banks. My plant was not meeting expenses, and not being able to get the assistance of the town's local paper, conducted by Chill Hazard, I resolved on a determined effort. The town was entirely in the hands of the Republican Party. I myself was of that persuasion. I had handbills printed immediately preceding a town election, had boys carrying them about the town and pushed them under the house doors. The election came off, the town went Democratic, and electric lights were put on the street.
The opposition, though, was strong enough in many places, and according to one local legend, that when the contractors finished digging a hole and went to fetch the pole, the residents of the nearest houses would climb into the hole and force them to dig new holes and run the lines elsewhere. Little wonder, since the gas lights were more attractive, and the electrical wires had littered the streets with layers and layers of disorder, many more lines than we have today. He began working on the development of methods to produce artificial diamonds in an electric furnace.
I decided to make experiments on impregnating clay with carbon under the influence of electric heat. By sheer chance, I happened to notice a few bright specks on the end of the arc carbon that had been in the mixture. I placed one on the end of a lead pencil and drew it across a pane of glass. It cut the glass like a diamond. I mounted an iron disc in the lathe and, oiling its surface, applied the material which adhered. And with this revolving disc, I cut the polished face off a diamond in a finger ring still owned and worn by me.
Though it was chemically silicon carbide, Acheson did not know the exact chemical makeup. A friend named William McAllister suggested calling it carborundum, since it had carbon in it and it resembled corundum, which was commonly used to make sandpaper. In 1894, he established the Carborundum Company to produce dental grinding wheels, whetstones, knife sharpeners, and powdered abrasives. Soon, Acheson's interests and the city's interests became deadlocked. In 1895, with the urging of Mellon Bank, Acheson moved his company to Niagara Falls, New York, where he went on to found 9 major corporations, including Union Carbide.